When I recorded the last episode, I said nothing had happened quite yet. And that was true then, but not so much now. You see, things did happen, just not quite how we expected it. If you're new here, this is Diary of a CGO. My name is Niall and I am building Skratchr, a community golf app in public with all the flaws and all the good stuff that happens along the way. And if you watched last week, you'll know that we launched Skratchr with no furore, no advertising, and just a very patient waitlist. And things went sensationally. It was perfect, immaculate, not one singular problem, which is obviously not true. So here are some of the little quirks that we spotted along the way. Number one, the very first person to register was in New Zealand. Thanks, Kerry. Really appreciate that you're getting involved, but unfortunately, we're not dealing with New Zealand just yet. We have to focus on the UK and Ireland for the moment. To be honest, I'm not sure how we got in because that's meant to be blocked off on the system, but we got in somehow. And then number two, some of the bugs started popping up. There was a couple of messages that didn't quite work out. There were profile photos that weren't updating properly. And those are great, we expect them, but it was really good to finally get a sense of what was working and what was not. There was nothing catastrophic, but really useful information for us as we develop and build the rest of the application. And then number three, probably the biggest pain out of all of it was the emails. You see, I decided to be really good and develop this really pretty, beautiful, enriched email on MailChimp, lots of lovely imagery, lots of everything. And it was a personal message from me to the 118 people I think we let in wave one. Now, unfortunately, when I sent a test of that email to myself, it ended up in my spam. So that is obviously not something that we want to happen with our first wave of entrance into the app. So I did what any leader would do, and I panicked. So I moved the email from MailChimp over to my Outlook, and I decided to send a rather basic text-heavy based version of the email smartly as a scheduled email for 7 a.m. so it would be sent at exactly the same time as the video on YouTube would be uploaded, so they could read the email, watch the video, get a sense of what this was all about, and then log in. Fantastic. I went to bed happy. It was all going to work perfectly. And then I woke up and dealt with my children, because they're a lot of fun, and started to notice there wasn't a huge amount of traction. Kerry had obviously logged in, thank you Kerry, but there weren't a ton of additional people coming in, maybe 2 or 3. So I sent a message to a couple of the people I knew were going to be getting the email, and they all said that they hadn't received it. So what actually happened was that Outlook had sent the email to some people, just not all of them. And there was no way for me to figure it out because I didn't have read receipts on. Smart me. So I did the sensible thing, what anybody would do in that situation. So I decided to manually email everybody on the list who had not logged in yet and say, hey, look, we seem to have a bit of a problem with our email. Here it is again. If you have any questions, let me know. So that took me about an hour and a half to do all of that. And just as I pressed the button on the last manual email to be sent, I got one back from somebody who told me that they received both my emails at the same time, 5.5 hours after I had originally scheduled the first email. So thank you, Microsoft, for making me look like a complete tool. I can do that all myself. I don't need your help. Beyond that, there was nothing major. There was a couple of quirks and bugs, but we fixed them in updates fairly quickly. But our biggest win, by a country mile, was increasing the users by 1,300%. How amazing is that? Now, I'm not going to get too tied up in the specifics around that, but ultimately it was from 2 to 26 people on the first day. I'm going to take the wins. 1,300% sounds much better than it actually is. You see, this tells you everything you need to know about early stage metrics. They really don't mean a huge amount. They're meaningless, they're ridiculous, but they're also really, really exciting. So joking aside, let's talk about things that people don't usually talk about at this stage. You see, everything is amplified, everything is hyped up, every new user is a big win, any feedback point is really, really interesting, and ultimately, every mistake feels like a referendum on whether or not you know what you're doing. But it was great because this was the first time my vision had been put into a real domain. It wasn't perfect, neither am I, but it gave us a really good sense of what we needed for the next phase of this application, and that's going to be the mobile app. Because there was definitely gaps. It was very clear from an early stage that while we knew this was going to be a light version of the app, it was also very light. So there was nothing in there to really retain people. Some people did message each other. That was fantastic. Some people who never knew each other messaged each other, which was also part of this as well. But there was nothing really, once they'd been in there, logged in, uploaded their profile pic, etc. There was nothing really there later on for them to stick around for. There was no challenges, there was no gamification just yet, they couldn't log scores. It was all pretty basic. So myself and James said to ourselves, we need to make sure that the mobile app is a place where people want to stick around, they want to hang out when they're not just on the course. And that is front of mind now for the next phase of development. Because ultimately, this needs to be something that people are willing to pay for and willing to stick around for, and also invite their friends to. The feedback that we got was fantastic, not because it told us we were great, but it told us about the things that we needed to change. Lots of UI tweaks, lots of UX tweaks, and we're really going to provide lots of capabilities and features within that first launch. What else did we learn? Well, I need to figure out how to understand deliverability of emails. I mean, everybody on the waitlist signed up to be on that first wave, and they didn't know how light or not it was going to be. So if only 25% of people actually created accounts, what happened to the other 75? I'm going to spend next week going through each one of those emails again and messaging them to try and understand if they had simply just missed the mail, if it had gone to a junk mail folder or what, and ultimately try and get everybody else in there, because the more data we have, the better. But I'm really keen to understand what exactly you want to see in the app. What will make you come in, what will make you stick around, and what will make you invite others into the application? Is it scoring? Is it gamification? Is it recognition or milestones? Is it the community? Is it creating tribes? Is it understanding what your local golf course has to offer? We need to know that information. So please put your comments down below and let us know what is absolutely crucial for you to be in that first version. And for the people who logged in, clicked around, did nothing and never came back, thank you, because that is also feedback for us. Not the ideal feedback, if I'm honest, but it is feedback, because user behavior is absolutely critical to how this is going to operate going forward. It would be really nice though if you told us what would bring you back. Just to be clear, the web version was never going to be our goal. It was always going to be the mobile application. That is where we live and breathe in golf, and that is where we're going to be able to add all these additional capabilities. So if you want to be part of shaping what this becomes, sign up to the waitlist so you get all the latest updates on what is happening. And if you want to get more of a sense of what I'm thinking and what's on my mind for the application, have a look at the playlist of shorts that I upload on a daily basis to get a better idea of what's going on there. Because in the next few weeks, that's where it's going to get interesting. It's not going to be linear, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you're part of it. I'll see you later.